People, it's your boy C Keys, man. It's good to see you guys. I love each and every one of you. And I just wanted to take the time out and tell you guys that and really express to you guys how much you all mean to me. I mean, I truly mean that. I know it's very difficult at this time right now for people to express their personal views, ideas, opinions without being ridiculed, hated, or talked about, regardless of the hue of your skin. I have 4 daughters that I'm currently raising right now with my wife, and we're trying to develop a better future for our children, okay? Regardless of the hue of your skin. You weren't given a choice before birth what your skin would be. The person you hating can be the person that saves your life. That person can be your organ donor. That person can be your rehabilitation. That person can give you the idea that could spark many ideas. But we have to first kick out the finger pointing and start talking solutions. Everybody feels like they're old. There are some people that are really old. I mean, I understand the concept when African Americans talk about retribution. And a lot of people, when we discuss retribution, they kind of toss it to the side and throw it out as if it's something we shouldn't, ask for or that we don't deserve. And my question to them is this: if that's the case, what makes us different than any other group of people on the planet that have been given retribution for any wrongdoing done to them in the past? Now, I can't stand racists, and I don't believe the concept that African Americans can't be racist because of what they've been through. I don't believe that any minority can be right in saying they have the right to hate on another group because of what they've been through. The definition of a racist is someone that hates someone based on race. Period. Because of the person's skin color or tone or background, ethnicity. You specifically hate that group or groups because of their ethnicity or their skin color. That's discrediting a whole race regardless of what their dreams, aspirations, strengths, opportunities, focus, drive, regardless of any of that, you have no ties with them. That's a racist. A prejudiced person, and keep up with me because I'm kind of schooling and educating you guys, and I'll come to a conclusion. A prejudiced person that has views and opinions on someone based on what they've seen, what they've heard, or witnessed, opposed to seen. Seen being like on television, witness is basically with their own eyes. That's a prejudice. That's a person that forms a stereotype based on your skin color from what they've seen on television. And I'll give you proof that that's prejudice opposed to racist. When I first moved from the Bay Area out this way, I didn't realize how opinionated people were in regards to African Americans. And I just labeled anybody that gave me a funny look, that clenched their purse, that, even today in my work environments and different places like that, I could be passing in a hallway with someone of another race, and not just whites. And they will literally create a space almost rubbing against the opposite wall to avoid sharing personal space with me. People, I look dead in their face and I say hello because I'm just that type of guy. And they will look me dead in the face and keep walking, or look in another direction like they're focused on the poster at the wall. This exists, okay? Now, I used to label all that as racist, okay? But then I started noticing the turnaround. Perfect example. Having 4 African American daughters, My wife and I will go out to a restaurant or a store, or we're just out in public. And if we're in a place that's predominantly another race, which where we live, the African American population is not a large population. But when we go places and we get that initial look, they start watching our actions, how we interact with each other. And immediately they want to know, what do I do for a living? How long I've been in the area? Before any of that, they start off by saying, oh, your children are so well mannered. See, what African Americans I encourage you to understand is we can break the stereotype of a prejudiced person. We cannot worry about a racist. Pointing fingers out at people and trying to say that they're racist, or if any race, you're pointing fingers. You're not coming up with a solution. What my mother always told me was, if you can't get someone to agree with you and you can't get someone to see you eye to eye, any time you waste beyond that is creating more stress in your life. So I'm adding death to my life. I'm taking years away from my life, stressing over someone or something that is designed to not agree with me. I have to move past that. However, when it comes to prejudices, it's amazing how your actions, not your accolades, determine how people perceive you. And if your actions are always backed of positivity and striving for success and focus, regardless of how they feel about you, they're going to have to respect your actions. You can actually change the perception. I never forget it. 3 years ago, I went to a party with a group of my friends. I was the only African American. And we went to the party. And when we got to the door from the overhang on the second floor, the girls started biting their nails and immediately ran to the back of the house upstairs. The owner comes down, music turns down. He shakes my hand and introduces himself directly to me. He looks me square in my eyes, shakes my hand. My friends are next to me and behind me looking at each other. He shows me the kitchen, the bathroom, where the backyard is, and where the living room was. And then he says, enjoy myself. We look at each other. That's odd. No big deal. We go into the kitchen. Literally, these women stood in a line and asked me my name and who do I know? Basically, why am I there? So, my first thought was, man, I want to leave because I felt really uncomfortable. But I remembered I didn't drive. I had rode with my friends. And as the night progressed, I let my actions, because see, that wasn't of race. That was more of perception. That was more of prejudice because I am a rare thing in their group. And what they see on television, through the media, through Facebook, through World Star, through our music videos, through the music we listen to, they see this picture painted as that being actually us. But as the night went past, everybody was super cool. And my friend, he leaned over to me and he said, Cliff, I know it super sucked. I was mad for you that happened. However, look how they're treating you now. And although this was a terrible situation, you just kind of changed their stereotype based on an African American male. And as much as I didn't want to admit that, it was the truth. And the bigger thing was, I left at that night at least changing someone's perspective on me based on who I was. And if what we're advertising is what they depict us to be, no matter what they show in the media, if they see us in person, or if they see our news feeds and they see positivity and change, then that's going to change their perception. I'm not talking about racists. I'm talking about on the fence prejudiced people that have been given information based on what they saw in the media. Okay? These are two totally different circumstances and situations, racism versus prejudice. Now, I say all this to sum up my point. I'm starting to dislike Facebook. Really starting to dislike it. Twitter, Instagram, really starting to get irritated by it. Because it's no longer a place where you socialize and meet up with friends you haven't seen in a while. It's about people's views and opinions. It's about what they think. It's about what can I say that will get a bunch of comments on my page. So willingly so that people will post false information, and then when corrected, they try to defend it even when they know for a fact the information they provided was false, just so they can have this sense of being right, aka Fox. But you know, it's your right to point fingers. It's your right to place blame. It's your right to play victim. And you can do that all day long. But the reality is, by the end of the day, it's just you playing victim. It's just you complaining.